All right, just for the record, I really hate this garden. I'm about a year and a half into this whole renovation project. Before, used some cheap weed barrier, try to like grow some plants around the edge that just, you know, became huge weeds and took over the whole thing. It was a complete jungle last summer. So yeah, the original thought was you plant this along the outside of the garden and creates a nice little natural barrier. I mean, this stuff comes up real thick, grows real tall. Yeah, the only problem is it grows real thick and tall. Yeah, don't kid yourself before going into a project like this. This is hard work. What you're looking at right now, it's not much, but you know, this is a good 3 days hard work and probably the hottest part of July. I waited till the best time of the summer to do this. And that's after having the ground, cleared, somewhat prepared. But yeah, I spent one day just, pulling all the short weeds that had popped back up, tilled it, pulled some more weeds, raked it. Then I got a pitchfork, dug that in real deep so I could loosen up as much soil as I could, as possible, because then I was going to drag, when I was leveling it off, I wanted to have as much to work with as possible. So YouTube's been a real godsend throughout this project. Simple things like you till up all the dirt, you start raking around, and you realize this isn't really all that level. How do I level this thing off without having to hire a contractor or rent some heavy equipment at the hardware store? Well, I saw this one video where a guy just rigged up some 2x4s like this after he had he was just using fill dirt, so just drug this thing around, using himself as the mule, and it worked pretty well. Not perfect, but again, I'm not planning on laying a foundation out here. I'm just building a garden, and I don't want to spend thousands of dollars to do it. Once you till this stuff up, you're really in a race against the clock. The weeds start popping right back up, within a day or two. I can tell Amber was out here spraying with vinegar earlier today, because yesterday it was looking like springtime out here again, but it's all dried up now. So, all right, so you can see I've got two types of weed barrier here. I've got this really thick fabric stuff. This stuff seems really durable. I've got a good feeling about this stuff. This cost about, we got this from Home Depot. It came in 8 foot by 100 foot rolls. Just got the one roll. I think it covered most of the garden. It cost about $100 for that. I can already tell it's going to be well worth it, because I fixed up the corners with some of this leftover stuff we had before, and it's thin, it's cheap, it tears real easy. Still, this is kind of the outskirts, so hopefully we'll be able to deal with that, but still trying to make this as economical as we can while still doing it right. I took care of the inner barrier right away the day that Amber and I laid down the weed barrier. That was pretty easy. I had the boards pre-cut and drilled. And I got some real good 12-inch galvanized spikes. Drilled holes through the timbers, 3 holes per timber. Once I got all the timbers in place, I drove the spikes straight down with the hammer, really firmly in place. Pretty good. Feel good about the price too. I mean, the timbers were only about $4.50, $4.75 each, and the spikes were, I want to say, 60 cents each. But didn't take a lot of them. Like I said, just 3 per timber, and well worth it. Very well secured. Today, I'm wrapping up my work on the outer barrier, that plastic barrier there in the background. Recycling that from the last from the last garden. We were smart enough to save as much material as possible, as practical, because it's coming in handy now, and saving a couple dollars here and there is a good idea when you're taking on a project like this, because believe me, they expand quickly, and that budget, you go through your budget pretty fast. So any materials you can salvage or save, I would say go for it. And so I ran out of these plastic spikes this weekend. So I had to run to Home Depot during my lunch break, and all they had at Home Depot were these this premium brand, and we're talking 8-inch plastic spikes here, Nothing special about them. Those packages were going $7 for 8 of these things, which seemed a bit hefty to me. They only had 2 packages left. I was still ready to get them, but I mean, it was nowhere near what I needed. But yeah, I guess since, you know, despite the price, people see them there. This time of summer, I guess people are getting pretty pretty desperate to get this stuff done already, and I can't blame them. So a lot of people are buying them, but not a very good price. So I still needed to stop at Walmart, so I went there, and exact same product, only the generic version. And I mean, again, we're talking about just 8-inch plastic spikes. They're selling them there for just those were $2.50 for a package of 10 of them. They seem to be doing a pretty fine job holding this trim in place, so I'm not too concerned. Here's what that package looks like in case you decide to buy these online. Just anchoring spikes, 10 spikes. Like I said, $2.50 for this package compared to $7 for a pack of 8 for the premium brand. Starting off, I'm just putting one every other tab, trying to be a little economical with it. I'll go back afterwards and I'll fill in some of the in-betweeners. Don't think you're going to be able to cheap out on these spikes or anything else, you know, as you're running to the hardware store. Hey, can I just get by with a couple packets? Because, you know, just give you an idea here. So I've got about 30 feet here. It curves a little bit, so I'm just going to have to round up a little bit, but 30 feet, you know, and it's 3 for every foot. That's 90 of these things. Okay, you want to go every other one? Fine. You know, you're still talking 45 of them. So just doing one side of these will take you over, you know, 4 or 5 packets at the store. So you got to do 4 sides. This probably, yeah, this guard is relatively square. So, you know, at the very least, I'm talking about 18 bags of these things. So fortunately, we had a lot that we were able to recycle from the last garden. But yeah, I mean, when you're at that hardware store, don't be thinking you're going to cheap it out on product, because you need what you need. So we're still fairly near the beginning of all this. It might not seem like much after a year and a half of work, but progress is progress. It's looking good. I'm smiling at this point, so we're gonna keep at it. Maybe I'll even pull out the camera every now and then as this project continues to progress and hopefully wrap up within the next few months.